What's up everyone, Kyle says now. Welcome back to my 2023 WWE Elimination Chamber review, and this was a good show. There's a lot to talk about, so I'm not going to waste time. Before we get into it, let me know in the comment section what you thought of Elimination Chamber. Leave a like, comment and subscribe, and let's kick things off with the Women's Chamber match. Very good match to kick off the show. Liv Morgan and Natalya start off working over each other using the chamber and the fence. Raquel in at number 3. Takes a boat before being hit with a sunset flip into the chamber wall by Natalya, which looked good. In comes Nikki Cross next, who did a dive off of a pod onto Raquel, Natalya, and Liv. Carmella comes in, tries to take advantage by pinning Raquel, but only gets a 2 count. She then runs back into her pod and kind of hides before Raquel Rodriguez picks up and just kind of runs into the pod with Nikki Cross, sending both women crashing through. Carmella getting out of dodge just in the nick of time and goes into one of the other 3 pods, and that leads to Nikki Cross getting eliminated after being driven into the pod by Raquel. Liv Morgan then hits a sunset flip from she's standing on top of a pod. Raquel was standing on the second row, kind of bent over on the top. Sunset flip from the top of the pod onto Raquel, and only gets the 2 count for that. That was a good spot. I feel like I haven't seen something like that in the chamber before. Closest thing I can think of was it Jeff Hardy hit a swanton onto someone who was lying on the turnbuckle. I don't recall seeing a sunset flip done like that. Asuka then comes in at number 6 and just dominates, takes out everyone, while the crowd are chanting, "Asuka's going to kill you." Liv Morgan then eventually gets eliminated when Natalya has a sharpshooter locked in. Asuka grabs an arm and Liv just passes out to the double submission. So kind of making Liv Morgan look strong, having a double submission taking her out. Then Carmella gets the elimination on Natty. She was going for a sharpshooter on Asuka, gets caught with a super kick, and that's enough for Natalya to be eliminated. And yeah, Natalya got shown in Montreal for the Hart family member. She started off the match, survived a little bit, wasn't the first out, got into the final 4, so yeah, good shown for Natalya. Final 3 then leaves Carmella, Asuka and Raquel, who Carmella and Asuka team up to take out Raquel. Again, that makes Raquel look strong, needing 2 women to eliminate her. Asuka then eventually locks in the armbar to eliminate Carmella and gets the win, and will head to face Bianca Belair for the Women's Championship at WrestleMania in what will likely be one of the best matches of the 2 nights of WrestleMania. Very excited for that one. Big fan of Asuka, big fan of Belair. And yeah, very interesting to see that match. Asuka's been awesome since coming back, kind of freshened up her character, come back as kind of the Kana character. So yeah, excited to see her and Belair at Mania. Up next, Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar. Again, another like the Women's Chamber. I just quickly want to say, very good match and a great way to start off the show. Bobby and Brock, fast-paced action. Going straight at each other, big moves, hard hitting. Lashley hits a couple of spears. Brock counters the hurt lock into a couple of F5s. Gets a 2 count off that. Bobby comes back, spears, hurt lock locked in. Brock's in trouble, hits a low blow, DQ, giving Lashley the win in 4 minutes 33, so just under 5 minutes. A kind of surprising finish. In my predictions, I believe I said I feel like this will lead to maybe like the Hurt Business somewhere again fault, and it could lead to a rematch at WrestleMania, which with this finish you could see that being the case. But after what happened on SmackDown, kind of surprising, since Bray Wyatt said the winner of Bobby and Brock better run. So maybe Brock seen that, he's like, I don't want a piece of Bray Wyatt and Uncle Howdy. Bang, there you go, Bobby, you win. But, yeah, maybe it's Brock, Bray and Bobby at Mania, I don't know. But yeah, if it wasn't for that Bray segment, I would have been okay with this finish, because I would have expected them to extend this out to Mania. But because they had this stuff with Bray calling out, saying the winner this better run, it's kind of, I don't know where to go with this. Maybe they will have plans for Bray in one of these, but I kind of seen the reaction to what Bray got when he made the challenge. It wasn't really great from what I've seen online, so maybe they decided to change direction. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what direction they want to go. After the match, Brock Lesnar takes out the ref, hits an F5 on Bobby through the announce table, and then hits the ref with another F5. But yeah, I enjoyed this match for a bit, like what it was. Just two big men hitting their finishes on each other, high intensity, eventually leading to the DQ, which kind of dampened it a bit, but we'll have to see where it goes. Then we got our first WrestleMania movie party, which was Seth Rollins as Joker, Becky as the Batman, because she's the man, she's the Batman. You know, just kind of promoting WrestleMania in Hollywood like they did with WrestleMania 21. I just wanted to make note of that because I enjoyed it. Edge and Beth then beat the Judgment Day. Beth Phoenix had Bull Nakano inspired face paint, which was good. I'm not gonna go into I'm just kind of gonna break down the key points here. Fuck you, Dominic chants from the crowd, which is good. Dom then interferes, pulling Beth down while she was on the top. Edge chases him off, and the crowd did a hey, goodbye to Dom, who eventually comes back. Beth and Edge putting a double educator on Finn and Rhea. Dom causes a distraction, throws the brass knucks to Rhea, who used them on Edge for a 2 count. After Finn gets the cover, looks like Beth was meant to break it up. She dove to break it up, but I think she was a bit too late. But Edge luckily got his shoulder up just in time. But yeah, it looks like the save to break up was a bit late. Rhea and Beth then do a powerbomb onto Edge and Finn, simultaneously, which was good. Rhea goes for the concerto on Beth on the steps. Misses, gets hit with the Grand Slam on the floor. Edge does the suicide dive onto Dominic, and then eventually hits a spear on Finn after a bit of back and forth. Trading like sling blades, spear attempts, coup de grace, stuff like that. Eventually hits the spear before Edge and Beth hit the Shatter Machine for the 3 count. Hitting FTRs or the rival as they were back in WWE in their finisher. Well, it's the same as what FTR use now, Big Rig, but we call it Shatter Machine, which, considering the kind of tease Dark Sport where he posted something, there's a WWE logo on a sheet of paper, people are like, oh, is this them teasing they're coming back? I don't really see it being a tease of them coming back. I'm pretty sure when Edge and Christian had their podcast, they were big fans of FTR, so I don't really see it being a tease, but I wouldn't also be that also doesn't mean FTR definitely aren't coming back. I'm interested to see where they do end up, but this isn't about FTR, this is about Elimination Chamber. Personally, I would like to have seen Judgment Day get the win, maybe have Rhea there. I would have liked to have seen Rhea get the pin on Beth, and set her up getting a pin on the Hall of Fame going into WrestleMania would have been big, but I also won't mind if they do run Rhea and Beth back one-on-one, maybe after Rhea wins the belt, have it for the belt. Finn taking the pin leaves me interested to see where they go. The rumours and word is they were meant to have a Hell in a Cell at the Royal Rumble. That got pushed back to WrestleMania. Whether or not that is still the plan, I don't know. But I'll talk about Edge after I talk about this next match, because something happens with Edge where we may get a bit of a direction where he could go. So next up was the Men's Elimination Chamber. Again, this match, awesome. I'd say this could be up there winning as an all-time Elimination Chamber match. Start off, Seth and Gargano, nice action back and forth between the two. Theory comes in next, tries to get Gargano on his side. Of course, they have the history together as the way in NXT. Johnny, instead of reuniting the way, decides to attack Theory, who goes back into his pod. He's holding the door closed, distracted by Gargano. Of course, in the chamber he's now, the pod's open by both sides, which allows Seth to open it from behind, and Theory and Gargano just beat down. Gargano Seth beat down Theory in the pod until the Damian Priest enters the match next, and he kind of takes control for a bit, does a nice dive out of the ring onto Austin Theory. Here comes Bronson Reed next. Again, another good showing from Bronson. It's his turn to take control eventually. Uses the chamber, sending Priest into it. and splashes him up against the pod, which doesn't break, which made it look even more devastating because Priest just gets sandwiched in between Bronson and the pod. Then out comes Montez Ford, who, I don't know, did he think he was Member DX just constantly doing suckathons? Eventually, Rhea gets Gargano up in an electric chair position. Seth hits the springboard clothesline on Gargano, which in turn, because he's up on Reed's shoulders, ends up poison Rana from Gargano onto Reed. Montez climbs up the chamber, and climbs up to the roof and dives onto everyone. Then that leads to Seth, Gargano, and Ford all hitting their finishes on Bronson Reed to get the elimination. Makes Bronson look strong. Makes Bronson look strong, having 3 men hit their finishes to get the elimination. Everyone then starts to climb up the wall. Seth and Gargano reach the top of the pod, and the other 3 end up getting knocked off. Seth and Gargano fight on top of the pod. Seth goes to powerbomb Johnny off, and he reverses it into a Rana, and both men crashing down off the pod to the floor. Of course, there's people under there to catch them. Gargano did seem to go down, crashing down hard. But he still takes control for a bit before Damian Priest cuts him off, hits the Razor's Edge, and that's it for Johnny Gargano. Again, another good showing for Johnny wrestling here. Seth and Ford hit a powerbomb block pause to combo to eliminate Priest. Ford then goes for a frog splash onto Theory, gets his knees up, and he kind of rolls under there, between the bottom and middle rope. Get caught with a curb stomp onto the floor, the chamber floor, and which is it for Montez. Again, another big breakout performance here by Montez. He looked like a superstar. I feel like it's only a matter of time before he gets that big singles push. Personally, I wouldn't like to see the Street Profits break up. I'd like to see them, instead of having a turn, still be on good terms, but kind of do singles things, kind of like the New Day. Even though the New Day were like a trio, but Biggie, he went off on his own. He went off to a different brand, but whenever he never officially left the New Day, he never turned on the New Day. Him and New Day, he's still a part of New Day, even when he was on a different show to them. Because that way you don't have to constantly break up teams and reunite and break up. You can still have teams, but you can still have them do single stuff. Right, so that leaves to the medics coming in to help Ford out, which, good job Montez Ford, he made it look legit. I actually thought he was hurt for a moment, but you can tell that was just for the ankle. From what happens, I believe it was for the angle. The door being open because the medics allows Logan Paul to show up, hit a buckshot and a curb stomp onto Seth, which allows Theory to 8 him down for the 3 and to retain. And that sets up Austin Theory then on the post-show press conference, making an open challenge for Monday Night Raw, which is accepted by Edge. And very interesting to see how this goes. Maybe Judgment Day cost Edge, which allows Theory to retain. Maybe Theory continues to do the challenge up to Mania, which then gets answered by Cena, maybe. Or, maybe you could have Edge win and then at Mania you do Edge and Finn for the US title. I don't know, there's what ways this can go, because I believe Edge, he held the WCW United States Championship when that was over in the Invasion, but I don't think he held the WWE United States title. I may be wrong. Let me just quickly look that up, but I don't think he held the WWE version. I believe it was the WCW during the Invasion. WWE acknowledged that. I'm not sure if they acknowledged that, but very good chamber. All 6 had big performances. All 6 made look like stars in that match. All 6 came out looking good, and the US title elevated, and now you have Hall of Famer Edge challenging for it. And on his Wikipedia it says WCW United States Championship, so he hasn't held the WWE United States Championship. Again, whether or not we recognize that lineage, I'm not too sure. Yeah, big, great chamber as I mentioned at the start. Probably up there as an all-timer, one of the best ever. All six came out looking good. US title has been again elevated again, and yeah, very good matchup. And then the reason we are here, the main event, Sami Zayn versus Roman Reigns. I'm pretty sure I said my predictions. I didn't think Roman would lose, but there was that 1% of me that was like, oh, just maybe the dude. And I went in believing there was a chance Sami Zayn could win because I wanted it. I wanted Sami Zayn to win. Going with what I want to happen and what I think will happen made this match even better because I was invested. It was wrestling at its best. Every near fall had me hooked. But yeah, Roman Reigns comes out first. The crowd chanting F you Roman, they're booing, they're loud. Sami comes out worlds apart, which he had on SmackDown. Atmosphere was incredible. Match starts back and forth action. Roman's getting in Sami's wife's face. Saying I tried to help you, I tried to help your family, but he caused this and stuff like that. Sami then turns things around because gives his wife a kiss. Fired up, big match feel. Near fall after near fall, and they had me hooked. Every spear, every Superman punch, every haluva kick, every blue thunder bomb, everyone he went to hit had me hooked, and every 2.9 had me biting, thinking that could have been it. Sami, he goes to do his corner DDT through the turnbuckle, gets caught with a punch. Eventually, the ref takes a bump. Out comes Jimmy. 3 super kicks and a splash onto Sami, sorry, and he pulls Roman on top for a 2 count. I believe Roman hits a spear then for another 2 count. Again, close, biting on both, and every time he kicked out, I was just like, maybe this is it. Maybe it's actually time. Ref gets hit down with Superman punch. The second ref is taken out, which leads to Sami takes out. Sami took out Jimmy as well at one point. Second ref gets taken out. Paul gives Roman the chair, and out comes Jey Uso. And he just stands between Sami and Roman. Roman hands Jey the chair. And they tease the Royal Rumble spot. They tease it. Roman turns his back to Jey with the chair. Jey looks at Roman. He looks at Sami. And he doesn't do it. He kind of teases, hitting Roman. He kind of looks at Roman. Eventually, he kind of drops the chair. Roman turns around, starts pushing Jey, getting in his face, shouting at him. Sami goes for a spear. Roman moves. He hits Jey. Then chair shots and vicious chair shots. A spear. Puts down Sami Zayn, and Roman gets the free. And then Jimmy gets back in, beats down Sami. Out comes Kevin Owens. Stunner to Jimmy, stunner to Paul Heyman, haluva kick to Roman. Send the crowd home, kind of happy with the Montreal boys standing over the bloodline, even though they didn't get the job done, or even though Sami didn't win the belt. I liked this, but I felt like the finish was flat. Because you just have Roman the chairs and then the spear, and it's just 3. It did feel a bit flat. It was like, okay, that's it. Okay, I'm kind of interested in the direction. Because I don't see how you do Sami and Kevin versus the Usos off that finish. Jey, if you're going to do it, have Jey actually turn and have that moment, if you go in that direction, I'd rather just have Jey costume, have Jey turn. Because I don't know, if setting it up just off an accidental spear is weak, and how strong this storyline has been, I feel like it's a bit of a letdown to set up that way. You could maybe have Sami's pissed at because Jimmy got involved and Jey's trying to back his brother and he's caught in the middle. But I don't know. I feel like if you're going the direction of the tag match, just have Jay screw over Sammy completely. And also, I'm not a big fan of how Kevin came out after the match. You know, like Jimmy comes out, there's no Kevin. Jay comes out, still no Kevin. It's after the match when Kevin comes out, he's like, what were you doing? Why didn't you come out earlier? Why didn't you try help him? Like, if you're going to do this, maybe have something on the pre-show or something where Sammy's arriving. He meets Kevin, he's like, good luck tonight, I've got your back. And Sammy's like, I need to do this alone. I need to do this by myself. I feel like, why wasn't Kevin out there earlier? I feel like, that's a bit of a, maybe I'm picking at straws just because I've had high hopes and set a high bar for this storyline. But I feel like, give a reason why Kevin doesn't come out, because during the match and it's out for after. And again, Kevin hasn't been seen since the Rumble, so maybe you want that big surprise of, oh, he's here, but we all expected him to be there. And you don't even have to show that promo to the crowd, you can just show it on the pre-show. And you still get that pop for Kevin coming out. After the match then. So, yeah, I don't know. Very interested to see how this plays out. I feel like you can't do a tag match after that finish. Like, if you're going to do a tag match, just have Jay fully turn. But the way they did it, it makes me not want to see the tag match in a way. Like I said, the only logical way of going about it for the tag is because Jimmy got involved and beat him down afterwards, and Kevin came out and stunned Jimmy. Maybe Jay's he's backing his brother, but he's caught in the middle between Sammy. Again, I feel like that's kind of, I would rather just a full-on Jay turn. That way the finish wouldn't have felt as flat as it was. But, we've 6 weeks to Mania, so let's see how it plays out. Let's see if they do the tag match. Let's see if they make it a triple threat between Sammy and Roman. Let's see. So, but yeah, overall good show. Felt like the finish to the main event is a bit flat, and it doesn't really make me excited if they do the Usos versus Kevin. So yeah, let's just wait and see where it goes. Let me know what you think of the comments. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.